What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to KGJ Speaks. The DoD just announced that active duty service members age 30 and up are now going to receive annual screenings for low testosterone. If you're hearing that for the first time, you're probably asking yourself the same question that I did, which is, why does the Pentagon care about low testosterone? Well, today we're breaking that down. We're going to look at what was actually said in the video, try to figure out why it was introduced, the arguments for and against it, and what it could mean for military readiness. So let's get into it.
At the Department of War, we have the most elite warriors on the face of the earth. Every single day, you are pushed to your absolute physical and mental limits to master the profession of arms. We demand your all, and you give it. But while we invest heavily in our weapon systems, platforms, and gear, our most decisive tactical advantage will always be the individual warfighter. We have a sacred duty to maintain that advantage, which is why we must constantly look for new ways to optimize your performance, your resilience, and your long-term health. And to meet that commitment today, I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency for our service members, ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute.
Okay. On its face, this seems really weird with the timing. Just last week, we talked about beards, and then not even a week later, now we're talking about testosterone. So just the timing of this is weird, but he's talking about helping service members with their longevity and readiness and all that stuff. So let's see.
Best, because it's well-established science that as we age, testosterone levels often naturally drop. Under the supervision of our world-class medical professionals, warfighters age 30 and older are going to be tested annually as part of their periodic health assessment. It's a health assessment that happens every year. We're just adding this test. Those under 30 can voluntarily choose to get the test as well. If treatment is recommended, it's entirely your choice to receive testosterone replacement therapy.
Okay, so some key things we got right away. So now it's going to be an annual testosterone deficiency screening for everyone that's 30 and up as part of their annual PHA, right? So for those of you who are in the military, you know what I'm talking about. But essentially what it is every year, and I don't know if every branch calls it the same thing. On the Air Force side of the house, we have our annual PHA, which usually is a questionnaire. And then if you need additional treatment after based on the questions, you'll go schedule your appointment to get seen for any concerns that you have. So what they're going to do is tie this to that annual requirement. So that's kind of cool. Second thing you mentioned is that service members under 30 may request testing, but is not required. And I think the reason for that is, younger, more fit individuals typically are fine. Their testosterone levels are good. And it's not really a concern until you get older, unless you have an actual, like some sort of actual medical condition where you just produce less testosterone than you should. But typically younger people, it's not a problem. Typically. And then he says treatment, if medically appropriate after the evaluation, is voluntary. So he's not mandating TRT treatments. But again, the whole timing of this is just weird. This feels like it just fell out the sky. Anyways, let's continue.
This initiative, it's not about artificial enhancement. It's about restoring and optimizing your natural capabilities, protecting your longevity, and ensuring you have the biological foundation required to sustain the fight. We owe our warriors the absolute best medical care in the world.
Sure.
And this program delivers on that obligation. Taking care of your long-term health means ensuring you remain strong, resilient, and capable.
Okay, but long-term health isn't just testosterone. That's the only thing. Like he's saying some really great stuff here, but testosterone itself does not equal health. All right, it affects a lot of things. Don't get me wrong, in men and women, but that by itself does not equal longevity. So that's kind of you gotta look at this with a grain of salt.
just for your next deployment, but for the rest of your life, so you can thrive long after you take off the uniform. As we know, the modern battlefield is brutal and unrelenting. It requires and demands maximum psychological and mental readiness. And by addressing these health markers early, we're keeping you on the leading edge of lethality and giving you the same level of support that you give this nation, the absolute best.
Man, I gotta say these videos are
Godspeed, keep
produced
going,
really well.
and God bless.
That was the video, folks. In a nutshell, all service members now who are 30 years and older will be required to do annual testosterone deficiency screenings. If you, I don't know, I'm sure they're going to have to do some sort of additional testing to see if you actually need TRT, because just because you have low testosterone doesn't mean that you automatically have the deficiency. Does that make sense? Like, there might be another cause versus just a natural body deficiency is what I'm getting at. So it's, yeah, I don't know. I hate how it's just blanketed the way they did it. But let's talk about why maybe they're focusing on testosterone.
Do you feel more tired than usual? If so, this might be a sign that you have low testosterone, something a lot of men suffer from as they age. Low testosterone can present in many different ways. For example, you might feel more tired than usual out of the blue. You might feel more tired despite having a full night's rest and you're still feeling groggy in the morning. You might be going to the gym and you might notice that I'm not recovering as fast as I used to, or that you're actually losing muscle mass and bone density. You might even notice that you're starting to develop more fat around the waist area, even though you haven't changed your lifestyle or your diet. You might notice that you have a decrease in your libido. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more depressed, a little bit more anxious, or you don't have the same mental clarity you used to. All of these things can be signs of low testosterone. And if you're concerned, you should talk to your healthcare provider as soon as possible. They can go ahead and run a simple blood test that can look at your testosterone levels and see if you indeed have low testosterone. And now you know. Take care.
So that video we just watched talked about symptoms of low testosterone, right? And there's some big hitters there, right? Fatigue, where you're tired like all the time. You go to sleep, you wake up tired. Your muscle mass is reducing, right? Which that also does naturally happen when you get older too. But a slower recovery, lower libido, right? Mood changes. You might be more irritable or depressed or whatever, right? DOD essentially is saying that getting this test done earlier can help improve your long-term health if you can figure out that it's testosterone. That's my best guess. All right, here's the debate. The people who support this are kind of on the side of proactiveness in terms of improving force readiness. They want to get their people ready and healthy, and that's fair, right? You're in the military to serve. You want to make sure you're healthy and fit to fight. You want to be able to deploy and things like that, right? Because that's a big part of it, right? In military invests a lot in equipment and training, but you also have the health aspect for your personnel to contend with. And I think that's worth a discussion, right? If screening helps identify legitimate health concerns, I think it can be a good thing. It could be a net positive. However, at the same time, this needs to be guided by strong medical evidence. Right, that's the part that I think I'm missing. I don't understand where this necessarily came from. It seems like it just dropped out the sky. Right, but you want to have a strong medical evidence and like a clear clinical judgment on it. So let me know, what do you think about this whole situation? Like, do you guys even care? Right, is this a smart investment in military readiness, or is the Pentagon focusing on the wrong issue once again? Right, we just talked about beards last week. And a week later, here we are talking about testosterone. Like, what? This feels like we're kind of in upside down land. I'm sorry. All right, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the breakdown, subscribe to KGJ Speaks for more military news and commentary. And remember, when KGJ speaks, you listen. Until next time, folks, peace.